First name, it's Lieutenant Colonel Erich Bergiel. First name, E-R-I-C-H. Last name, Bergiel, Bravo, E-R-G-I-E-L. I am the XO of CLR 45. So I'm the senior Marine out here, so really looking over the operations, the safety. It's really an exercise where we have the opportunity to practice our procedures and basically the processes of getting the gear from the caves here in Norway out and getting them to assembly areas for potential deployments. So the strategic mobility exercise is an opportunity for us to test our processes and procedures on getting the gear, getting our equipment from the caves in Norway out to staging and assembly areas to then go on to follow-on deployments. The significance this plays in the Marine Corps placement program is it allows us to practice that. It allows us to improve our ability to work with our allies here in Norway and enhance that bilateral relationship and show that we have the capabilities to come here and support any operations throughout Europe. So today we have actually been very successful in getting the gear from the caves and assembling it. And so now we are in the retrograde process. So we're actually pushing the gear back, and we're just making sure that we do that. And throughout this, we're looking at different processes and procedures and accountability issues and seeing how we can improve those. So really just kind of focusing on those today. We've been, this is something we do as Marines. We deploy and we're pretty good at it. We haven't had any huge significant challenges. What I've seen is just small instances that we can improve on. So I think there's been a number of those. A lot of it's focused on accountability, making sure that we are keeping accurate track of the gear. And so it's really the processes. I think the Marines themselves, they do what they do. They do it well. It's just, with the technology, introducing that new technology and making sure we implement that and utilize it effectively. I think that's probably one of our future challenges is how do we do that better? I mean, it's huge. The opportunity that we can come here and actually work hand in hand. I mean, it improves our ability to communicate, to coordinate. It strengthens, it shows that we want to maintain and strengthen that relationship that we have with our presence here. So I just think there are multiple facets that help to improve that overall relationship between us and Norway. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think a lot of they're junior Marines. I think there are a lot of Marines that hadn't had any OCONUS exercises. I mean, so the opportunity to do that and the experience of doing that, to go overseas and with your equipment and your gear, and then to show up into a country you've never been to and work with an allied force. I mean, all those things are going to be beneficial for them, in the future. And coming to a place like Norway, I mean, it's been great. The people have been great. I've had a lot of Marines that had never seen snow, so those little experiences allows them to grow and mature, and will only benefit us in the future. Well, what's interesting, I guess, when I look back if I go back to your earlier question on some of the challenges, I think that would be the challenges, because we haven't been here for months, and so the unit we brought out was actually made up of 6 different units who had never met or seen each other until the day we showed up for Cherry Point about 10 days ago. So we have a combination of both active duty and Marines, probably about a 50-50. And so as far as challenges, that was a little bit interesting. So you had people that you'd never worked with, never saw, and then you get on the plane. And so they had never met me until we landed here in Norway, and I was able to introduce myself. But they very quickly came together and gelled and became very cohesive. And I would think, from observation today, you probably wouldn't know that, 10 days ago they had never met or seen each other. So it's just really impressive how they've come together. So yeah, so it was a combination of both active duty and reserve Marines here. And it was comprised probably 50-50. And so, seeing that from observation now, I think you'd be surprised that these Marines didn't know each other 10 days ago, and have come together and gelled and become very cohesive quickly. Sure, to some degree. I mean, really, this specific exercise hadn't been done before to this magnitude. I mean, they pulled equipment out of the caves, but not to this level. And so, depending on the gear, specific Marines were needed for that specific types of gear. And so we had to pull, you know, from the active duty component to find those specialties, because while CLR 45 was, you know, the lead unit, we did not possess all those special MOSs internally. So we had to look through the list of gear that was getting pulled out and then go out and source those MOSs to make sure we had them here to be able to drive that gear, you know, basic maintenance on the gear, that type of thing.